Hi guys, and welcome back to What's Happened, the easiest way to keep up to date with what's been going on this week in science news. If you don't remember this cigar-shaped interstellar object from a few weeks ago, it's Oumuamua, an object which is currently tumbling through our solar system, and we believe it to have come from another solar system entirely. When we first saw Oumuamua, many speculated that it might actually be some sort of alien spacecraft, so we decided to give it a once-over by pointing a huge telescope at it and trying to detect any radio waves. Much to our surprise, there were no radio waves, and so we're pretty certain that it is just a huge lump of rock right now. Oumuamua's lack of aerodynamics, evidenced by the fact that it was tumbling through our solar system rather than gliding peacefully, had already led scientists to speculate this. We have, however, put forward some theories as to where Oumuamua might have come from. Matti Hakuk from the SETI Institute thinks Oumuamua may actually have been a part of a planet about 10 times the size of Earth, which was ripped apart by the gravitational forces produced by its small and incredibly dense star. The fragment which is now going through our solar system was likely tugged away in a gravitational tug-of-war between another orbiting star and sent on its way on its intergalactic voyage. And moving swiftly on, we're now going to talk about fentanyl. If you haven't heard of fentanyl, it's a synthetic opioid, a drug belonging to the same class as things like heroin. Fentanyl has been used for quite some time as a painkiller for advanced forms of cancers. The reason for this is that it's about 50 to 100 times more effective than heroin for dealing with pain. The issue is that drug dealers have managed to get their hands on it, and it's been being cut with heroin, causing tens of thousands of users to overdose fatally. Due to the fact that many pharmaceutical companies are now outright refusing to provide the drugs used by American prisons in their lethal injections, for those on death row, the charming fellows running the prison systems in Nevada and Nebraska have turned to fentanyl to use in their lethal cocktail. The last time the US Prison Service experimented with new kinds of drugs in their lethal injections, namely midazolam and hydromorphine on a human specimen, this man here, Dennis McGuire, ended up choking to death for 26 minutes. And I don't care what your view is on the kind of people that end up on death row, but that is just outright disgusting. And onto some much happier news. A scientist called Heather Campbell set up a research institute called the Atlas. And what the Atlas does is it trawls through social media looking for pictures of new species of spiders.
I have too many eyeballs.
And what they've been able to do by searching for images on social media is discover almost 30 species of baboon spider. But it's not just the Atlas who've been using the world's biggest network of eyes to discover and document new species. Dozens of other researchers have been turning to social media to find species as diverse as new forms of carnivorous plant to praying mantids. So guys, keep on posting those super cool travel pics to the Facebook, because who knows, you might well discover the next big thing. And finally this week in science news, we have some even happier news. It's been a great week. We may have just found a way to treat Huntingtons in the future. Huntington's is a neurodegenerative disease which causes sufferers to lose their motor skills and memory and then eventually die. It's caused by a mutation in one of your genes and has been likened to having Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and motor neuron disease all at the same time. And it's a condition that if you suffer from it, it will inevitably be what kills you. But recently, the UCL Huntingtons Institute has been testing an experimental new drug, which is being used to silence the gene which causes Huntington's, inactivating it and preventing the body from making the proteins which cause the symptoms of Huntington's. By injecting this drug into the spinal fluid of 46 patients suffering from Huntington's, they've been able to reduce the symptoms of Huntington's with no negative side effects. If the results continue to be this promising, we will not only have a means to treat Huntington's, but we might also have a way to treat other awful genetic diseases. So thank you so much to these two ladies, Dr. Sarah Tabrizi and Dr. Philippa Bryce, and their teams. They are absolutely amazing. And also, they're doing an amazing job for women in STEM. So kudos. And that's what's happened this week in Science News. As always, I've been Sam, you've been amazing, and I will see you next week. If you want to catch up with what happened last week in Science News, there'll be a button over here. If you want some life hacks, that's probably up here somewhere. And if you really want to subscribe, down here. And I would definitely advise you do that because there's some pretty great stuff coming this Christmas. See you later, guys.